Hi everyone, welcome. So let's start with our Aeon topic, the end of knowledge, where we were left. So I think this series we need to start with. Yeah. So the series of today's video is how can we get anywhere if we cannot even say where we want to go? So let's see what this series hold for us. Let's start with the first passage of the series. Overall, this looms the fourth meaning primarily in the context of the approaching climate apocalypse, which puts the first three ends into perspective. What is the point of all this in the face of wildfires, superstorms, and mega droughts? For us, this is not a rhetorical question. What is the point of literary studies, physics, history, the liberal arts, activism, biology, AI, and of course environmental studies in the present moment? The answers even for the latter field are not obvious, as Miana Larson shows in her contribution to our volume. Although the scientific case is closed as far as providing humans' effort on climate effect, governments have nevertheless not taken the action needed to avoid climate catastrophe. Should scientists then throw up their hands at their inability to influence political trends? Indeed, some have called for a moratorium on further research, or must they instead engage with social scientists to pursue research on social and political solutions? What role do disciplinary norms separating the sciences, social sciences, and humanities play in maintaining apocalyptic status quo? So this passage is basically distinguish between the study or disciplinary of science, social science, and humanities. So what this says that overall, this looms the fourth meaning primarily in context of approaching climate apocalypse, which put the first three end in perspective. So here let's talk about the fourth meaning. If you just go through the earlier video there, we just know about the three key meaning to understand the end. So now here it's with the fourth meaning. What the fourth meaning tries to make us understand about the end. So what it says that the primarily in the context of approaching climate apocalypses, which put the first three ends into perspective. It says that it's the fourth meaning is a summary of the first three keys. So let's see what it has. What is the point of all this in the face of wildfires, superstorms, and mega droughts? It says, why are we getting a wildfire, superstorms, mega droughts? For us, this is not a rhetorical question. What is the point of literary study, physics, history, liberal arts, activism, biology, AI, and of course environmental studies in present moment? It says that what is the meaning of studying of the physics, history, liberal arts, activism, biology, AI, and the environmental studies in our present moment? The answers even for a letter field are not obvious, as Mayana Lassen shows in her contribution in our volume. Although the scientific case is closed as far as providing human efforts on climate, governments have nevertheless not taken the action needed to avoid climate catastrophe. So it says that the answer the answer of all this are not even obvious in the that particular field related to these things, which the Mayana Lashin shows. She says that the scientific case is close as far as providing humans effect on climate. It says that the scientific case, the scientific meaning behind all this is still far away from what is the effect of human in it. Governments have nevertheless not taken the action needed to avoid climate catastrophe. She says that government also taken the action to avoid this climate disasters. Should scientists then throw up their hand at their inability to influence political trends instead? Some have called for a moratorium on further research, or must they instead engage with social scientists to pursue research on social and political solutions? So here she raised the questions on scientists that is they are enabled, they don't have ability to influence a political trend to avoid this climate disasters, or they are engaged themselves in research on social and political solutions only. What role do disciplinary norms separating the science, social science, and humanities play in maintaining the apocalyptic status quo? So basically, we can't find the answer in this whole passage. This whole passage is about raising the questions about the climate disasters happening in our present moment and who is responsible for that. Human or the different research on this particular fields. So the title of this passage is Who is responsible for climate disasters? The question on who is responsible for the climate disaster. And what we can take from here is that the first is the scientific case is closed as far as providing human effects on the climate. The government have nevertheless not taken the action needed to avoid climate catastrophe. Moratorium on further research, or scientists pursue research on socials. Oh, it's a question, so we can't. So that's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the next one. To some extent, then, particular ends are less important than the possibility of discovering a shared sense of purpose. Ultimately, we hope to show what the benefit would be of knowledge project starting with their ends in mind. How can we get anywhere if we cannot even say where we want to go? And even if we think we have goal, are we actually working towards them? Ideally, a firm sense of both purpose and outcome could help scholars demonstrate how they are advancing knowledge rather than continuing to spin their wheels. So, this passage is saying the collective purpose, we can say. So, let's see what actual this passage is trying to say. To some To some extent, then particular ends are less important than the possibility of discovering a shared sense of purpose. This passage is saying that, in some sense, it is not that much of important the end of anything or end of the particular project, but it is important to discover a shared sense of purpose. Why is that? Let's see. Ultimately, we hope to show what the benefit would be of knowledge projects starting with their end in mind. So it says that in our mind we already hoped what is the benefit of or the end of our project. It's already there in mind. That's why we started the project. How can we get anywhere if we cannot even say where we want to go? Here the author is raising the questions. How can we get anywhere? Means how can? If we don't know where the destiny is, then how can we go there? If we don't know the destiny, if we don't plan the destiny, we just randomly just moving here and there aimlessly. And even if we think we have goal, are we actually working towards them? Here another question raised by author that if we know if we have the goal, do we working on them? Ideally, a firm sense of both purpose and outcome could help scholars demonstrate how they are advancing knowledge rather than continuing to spin their wheels. So, here the author is saying that for getting the end of their projects or end of their goal, it is equally important to have purpose and outcome as well, so that they are advancing their knowledge rather than continuing spin their wheels. Means rather than working on their knowledge with purpose and outcome, they can advance up upgrade their skills. So what is the title of this whole passage is how to achieve goals with purpose. And what we can take from here is that the first is the possibility of discovering a shared sense of purpose. And a firm sense of both purpose and outcome could help scholar demonstrate how they advancing knowledge rather than continuing to spin their wheels. That's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the next one. As we noted, our survey found four ideas of the end of knowledge: telos, terminus, termination, and apocalypse. But in answering the question of the end of their discipline, our contributors fell into another set of four groups, which cut across a three-part university division of the humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. One group took the approach of unification. How could the author field achieve a unified theory or explanation, and how close the fields of that goal? A second group argued that the purpose and the end of the knowledge production is increased access and that such access is key to social justice. Discussion of utopian and dystopian outcome comprises a third group, while the four located their end in the articulation and the pursuit of key concepts such as a race, culture, and the work. So this passage is talking about the division of disciplines, disciplinary subjects like humanities, social science, and natural science in four different approaches. The first one is four different groups, we can say. The first one is the approach of unifications. How could the author field achieve a unified theory or explanations, and how close is field to that goal? It's about the starting of the project, it's about your goal, and how it's whatever your project goal and what you want to achieve through that. And second one is argue that the purpose and the end of the knowledge production is increased access, and that such access is key to social justice. It's about how your project benefited to the society. And the third one is utopian and dystopian outcome comprises the third group, while the fourth one locates the end in articulation and pursuit of key concepts such as race, culture, and work. So, as we read it, you just already know that the title should be for this particular passage is disciplinary divides into four groups. And the first, we can take the first group took the approach of unification. How could the author's field achieve a unified theory of explanation, and how close is field to that goal? And the first second one is a second group argued that the purpose and the end of the knowledge production is increased access, and that such access is key to the social justice. And the third group is discussion of utopian dystopian outcome. And the fourth locates the end in the articulation in the pursuit of key concepts such as race, culture, and work. So let's moving toward the next passage. These four groupings, unifications, assess utopia, dystopia, and conceptualizations, synthesize many of the ways that knowledge workers respond when asked to consider their discipline's end, from seeking a point of convergence for the knowledge to articulating the central project of their field. In this way, we ask contributors to reimagine their places within the university structure. As we know, any individual scholar, research, or methodology, what we have called her knowledge project might diverge significantly from those of her colleagues within a department or discipline. The 19th century formation of the university established our three primary divisions of the humanities, social science, and natural sciences. Now we are proposing a thought experiment of a new four part structure. What might a department or division of unification or conceptualizations look like? We are asking how knowledge production might change to fit the present moment if we organize ourselves not by content, English, physics, computer science, and so on, but by how we understand our ends. So, what this passage is saying, these four groupings, unifications, access, utopia, and conceptualizations, synthesize many of the way that knowledge workers respond when asked to consider their disciplines end, from seeking a point of convergence of knowledge to articulating the central project in their field. So it says that the ever mentioned or described group, now the scholars can able to describe what the end of their disciplines or end of their project with the knowledge and purpose in their perspective fields. In this way, we ask contributors to reimagine their places within the university structure. As we know, any individual scholar's research or mythology, what we have called her knowledge project, might differ significantly from those of her colleague within the department or discipline. So, in this way, it's created distinctions between the purpose and the process wherein the knowledge of this particular disciplinary scholars. The 19th century formation of university established our three primary divisions of humanities, social sciences and natural sciences. So it's because of this universities, There is a division in humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. Now we are proposing a thought experiment of a new four-part structure. What might a department or divisions of unifications or conceptualizations look like? Now, now the divisions before scholars are divided between a humanities, social sciences, and natural science. Now they are divided between the above mentioned group. We are asking how knowledge production might change to fit the present moment if we organize ourselves not by the content, English, physics, computer science, and so on, but by how we understand our ends. So it says that this whole sentence says that how the knowledge production change if we divide the scholars not because of their disciplines but how because of their understanding of the knowledge or understanding of their ends. So what is the title of this whole passage? The title of this passage is Division of Scholars according to four groups, according to ever mentioned four groups. And what we can take from here is that first, the four group knowledge worker response when asked to consider their discipline end from seeking a point of convergence for the knowledge to articulating the central project of their field. That we can take. A thought experiment of new four-part structure. How knowledge production might change to fit present moment if we organize ourselves by content, not by content, but by how we understand our ends. That's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the next one. At the same time, these ends are necessarily interconnected, and individuals' research projects would like fit into several at once. As Honkyu argued in his contribution to our book, for example, individual researchers and team working towards autonomous learning AI system and artificial general intelligence will need more deliberate exposure to moral philosophy, political science, and sociology to ensure that ethical concerns and unintended consequences are not addressed on an ad hoc basis or after the fact but are anticipated and made integrals of the technology's development. Educators, activists, and policymakers will concurrently need more practical knowledge about how AI works and what it can or cannot do. Achieving the immediate end of AGI entail the pursuits of a new and most abstract and end greater than the sum of its disciplinary parts. A governance framework delineated rules and expectations for configuring artificial intelligence with moral reasoning and alignment with universal human rights and international law as well as local customs, ideological and social norms. Hughes explored potential dystopian scenarios as he argued that if the end of creating ethical AGI is not achieved, humanity may face a technological end. In this way, current disciplinary divides are driving a society's wide sense of potential dooms. So, what this passage is saying, at the same time, these ends are necessarily interconnected, and individual research projects would like fit into several at once. The ever raised question is, if we change our production knowledge into understanding of end, then what? Then how the changes occur. So it says that at the same time, these ends are necessarily interconnected, and individual research project would like to fit into several at once. That, according to our understanding of ends, it is interconnected with each others, and the individual research project is just outcome of several at once. Means several topic touches at once. As Honkyu argue in his contribution to our book, for example, individual researchers and team working toward autonomously learning AI system or artificial general intelligence will need more deliberate exposure to moral philosophy, political science, and sociology to ensure that ethical concern and unintended consequences are not addressed on an ad hoc basis or after the fact but anticipated and made integral to the technology's development. He says that a team, which are a researcher teams which are working for the learning autonomous about AI system, artificial general intelligence, for that they must know about what is the moral philosophy, political science and sociology to ensure the consequences are addressed an ad hoc basis rather than the fact but anticipated made integral to the technological development. He said that in the current era, the demand for AI is boom. And so, author suggested that the team who are researching on AI system and artificial general intelligence, they must know the consequences of philosophy, political science, and sociology to address the problems, to just make that technology work effectively and efficiently. Educators, activists, and policymakers will concordantly need more practical knowledge about how AI works and what it can or cannot do. So it says that because of that, on research of that, the educator and activist and policymaker must know what AI can do and what cannot. Achieving the immediate end of AGI entailed the pursuit of a new and more abstract end greater than the sum of its disciplinary parts. A governance framework delineating the rules and expectations for configuring artificial intelligence with moral reasoning in alignment with universal human rights and international law, as well as local custom, ideology, and social norms. It says that achieving an immediate end of AGI and putting it into governance framework, it must be have a green check with the moral reasoning which align with the universal human rights and international law, local custom, ideology, and social norms. If it gets the green check from all this, then it can be implemented for the public and adopted by the government. Hughes explored a potential dystopian scenario as he argued that in the end of creating ethical AGI is not achieved. Humanity may face a technological end. So here Q explored that he argued that the end of creating ethical AGI is not achieved because humanity may face a technological end. In this way, a current disciplinary divides are driving a society-wide sense of potential growth. So, in technology or in any new frame of policy, the society perspective is very important. So, the title of this whole passage is How to Make AI and AGI according to the ethical concerns and consequences of society or technological development. And what we can take from here is that first, the ends are necessarily interconnected and individual research projects would likely to fit into several at once. And the need more deliberate exposure to moral philosophy, political science, sociology to ensure that ethical concern and unintended consequences are not addressed. Achieving the immediate end of AGI entailed the pursuit of new and more abstract and greater than the sum of its disciplinary parts. Moral reasoning in alignment with universal human rights and intel law as well as local custom for configuring artificial intelligence. Here we can check. And if the end of creating ethical Asia is not achieved, humanity may face technological end. Current disciplinary divides are driving a society-wide sense of potential too. So that's all for this series. So hope you guys like it. See you with the another series of this particular essay. As of now, have a great day.